I was reading the other day that it takes at least $1 million to break an artist. That's a ton of change, and it can feel overwhelming. But with social media leveling the playing field, you just need an effective strategy to release your music. Check out Release Rocket to ensure your single does not die after release day. You've already put time, effort, and tons of money into writing and recording your album. Let the guys at Release Rocket keep your new release alive.
Hey, this is Zach Neal, and you're listening to the Texas Toast Podcast.
So let's go.
Big cheers, everyone, and welcome to the Texas Toast Podcast. And really toasting the best from Texas, returning guest, one of my dear friends, somebody that's so talented in our industry, Zach Neal. Welcome back to the podcast.
It's good to be back.
It is good to be back. So let's catch up a little bit. Let's see. Last time I saw you, of course, we were just talking before we came on, was we always spend time and have great visits at the Texas Country Music Awards, which last year you're our reigning 2022 Male Vocalist of the Year. You walked away with that last year. So tell me how the last year's been for you since then.
It's busy. No, it's been great. Yeah, it was a real honor to win that. And that was really a nice kind of, I don't want to say validation, but it kind of lets you know you're maybe on the right track. And so that was really nice. And of course, that helps with the gigs and the bookings. And
True.
yeah, this year has been off the wall. We've been on the road so much this year. Of course, a lot in Texas, but of course we did a lot of like New Mexico, Colorado, Wyoming
Mhm.
dates too. We were out west quite a bit too, which is always fun. Always fun to get out there too.
Yeah, beautiful country out there. So yes, I did see some of those shows. What are some of your as far as the shows that you've done this past year, maybe a big highlight for you or during your tour?
Wow. I mean, there's probably several. I think honestly, one of the ones that we enjoyed probably the most was because we'd never done it before. Was we played out in Monte Vista, Colorado, which I had never been there. I didn't know anything about it other than it was in the mountains. And we ended up playing a bullfighting, not bull riding event, a bullfighting event. I didn't even know that was a thing as far as obviously rodeo clowns and that, but this was just a straight up rodeo clown in the ring with a bull trying to do everything to antagonize that bull and get points for it. And so before the show, we went out and watched this, and I mean, it was just pure nuts. So it was a lot of fun because we'd never experienced anything like that or seen anything like that before. So that was pretty cool, actually. And we played the after party, and it was a party.
I bet it was. That's pure athleticism right there.
Yeah, I
Witnessing
mean,
something like that.
I don't know how this one guy didn't. I mean, he got that bull got him and scooped him up and flung him over the back of him, and I mean, he landed on his back, and I thought, man, this guy's going to the hospital. Got right back up, just kept going like it was like nothing had happened. So
Wow.
yeah, it was
That's
just really
cool.
wild
That
to
is
see
so
that.
cool.
It
Yeah,
was
thanks
it
for
was really
sharing.
cool.
Hmm.
Yeah.
So lots of success with your radio singles, especially radio, doing really good. Okay, so now we're going to talk about you've had, five that's hit the top 40. Last one was All the Pretty Horses, which so gorgeous. All your songs are so good, did so good. Long Live the Cowboys. All right. So now you have this song called Till the Numbers Run Out. And I am absolutely in love with that song. Of course, everybody should be. It's just what I like about it is it's kind of lovey, lovey, mushy, mushy, but it's upbeat. It's not one of those draggy songs. But let's talk about your actual story behind that song and how you were inspired to co-write that song.
Yeah. So the idea was real basic at the beginning. It was Valentine's Day, and I was just on social media like we all are, and I saw this guy had posted this thing with his girlfriend, picture of them together saying I love you till the numbers run out. And I just thought, well, that's kind of an interesting way to say it. I'd never really heard that said, so I kind of made a little note of that and kind of filed it away. And a few weeks later, I got together to write with a great songwriter in Nashville named Shane Miner, And so I went up to Shane's house, and he said, "Well, you got anything?" And I said, "Well, man, I've got this love song idea, and I really don't have a lot of love songs. I've got love songs, but not stuff that's it's always this kind of the slow love song." And I said, "I don't have anything that's kind of got a little good danceable feel, kind of a good mid to up tempo danceable kind of a love song." And so I threw this idea at him, and he liked it, and we kind of took off on it, and we got done that day and thought, man, that's pretty good, and lived with it for a few weeks, and felt like there were some lines we needed to change and maybe make a little better on some parts. And we got back together, and then when we got done, I was like, man, I like this song a lot. And unlike a lot of songs, I didn't play it out with the band live before we cut it. Um, we just I just loved it. I thought, man, there's something really cool about this. And so that's what we cut, and that's what's out now.
So did you contact the couple and tell them the story about writing the song?
Well,
Did
so
you get
that's
to
what's
know them?
well, we have. I have gotten to know them, and it's been really interesting to get to know these people. Wyatt and Tessa are the couple, and what's interesting, and I had no idea when we wrote the song, but this song, that idea, the numbers run out, is what uh, Tessa, and that was like their family's thing. It was what her dad always told them, "Hey, I love you guys till the numbers run out." And then it's what
Mm.
it's kind of it's been, and it's something that their family through several generations has always said to each other. And sadly, her father had just passed away earlier this year. Well, we didn't know any of that, and so when we reached out to them and they heard the song, it just, it's something that I thought was a cool idea for a love song. For them, it was something. It's kind of become something more meaningful. They're actually getting married next year, and I think they said that's going to be their wedding song now.
Oh
Um,
my gosh.
yeah,
I have
yeah, yeah,
goosebumps. That is so
yeah, yeah.
amazing. What a blessing
And
for that family. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, and of course we didn't know any of that when we wrote it. We just thought, "That sounds like a good love song," and that's what's really cool about music. And from a songwriting perspective and an
Mhm.
artist standpoint, yes, we love party songs. We love all the fun songs. That everybody loves those. But when you hear stories like this, that kind of is what reminds you why you really even do this in the first place. Is that real connection uh, to touch people, and so it's really cool that we found out all this after the song was done, you know.
Wow. So them two getting married. And that's funny you would bring that up because as you listen to the song, like the first time I listened to it, that was the first thing that I thought was, this is gonna be some people are gonna use this for weddings.
Well, that's always a good thing. You always hope you could have a song like that, and yeah, I mean, till the numbers run out, I'll love you forever. That's the idea of it. And so yeah, to hear their story and get to know them, I've gotten to know them a little bit now. We
Mhm.
still haven't met in person. I think that's going to change here in a few weeks. I think we've got plans to actually meet in person out in Vegas when we're out there. So yeah, so looking forward to getting to actually, hear and talk to them in person about the song.
Oh, I know, and, like, all of us as a fan of yours can't wait to, like, actually see the faces of the couple behind it. I think that's kinda cool.
Yeah, no, it really is. It's really cool, and once again, it's like it's kind of cool how that the song was done, but now it's kind of cool to see that it's kind of reaching. I guess it's something different than anything I've ever had. I've never, I've had ideas for songs from people that have said things, but nothing that was maybe this personal to people.
Mhm. Well, wow, wonderful story. Thanks for sharing that. So talking about music, I kind of noticed all along, like, unless I've missed something, well, I mean, you drop a lot of singles that are just spot on, good, solid ones, and everything keeps getting better and better. Do you have plans? Are you working on a full album?
So yeah, so we get asked this a lot. I actually have a whole album that we did probably, I don't know, 8 9 years ago, something like that. It was first album I ever did, and that was back when people still bought albums. And then of course things moved to the singles format, and now we're
Mhm.
starting to see people are obviously moving back into albums. So yes, we have some things in the work for an album. We're still sorting it out. It'll be sometime next year by the time we get it all together. But we do have plans to put out actually a whole album to kind of, I'd rather do albums because from an art, it's more of a body of work and it's more
Mhm.
fun. But yes, the short answer to your question is yes. We got an album that we're working on, try and kind of put it all together. But it's going to be a little different than a traditional album too. I
Really?
think. Yeah, I think it's going to be an album, but we're kind of actually looking at doing an album full of unreleased songs that aren't necessarily full versions. It might be some more stripped down versions of some things,
Oh, I love
of
that.
some of demos that I've got, songs that we've never released. I've got a song that we play live in the show. We've been playing it live in the show for probably a year and a half, maybe 2 years at this point. And everybody's like, "You need to release that. You need to release that." And I want to release it, but it's just never felt like it felt right in terms of where we were in releasing
Mhm.
actual things to radio. So now I've got a full demo of it. I think we're going to include that on the album. We might record a couple things just to polish a few things off, but it's not going to be as polished as an actual full record would normally be. But I think the idea is to try and maybe pull back the curtain a little bit and say, "Hey, these are some songs. What do you guys think?" Make it a little more interactive for people.
Yes, yes, I love that.
That's
Looking
the plan.
forward. Yeah, that's the plan.
Hope
Stick with the plan. I like that plan.
we're gonna try and stay on track with it.
But, I do like how but you are consistent with releasing music and having your singles, and, and that's the thing, a lot of the artists that we interview and a lot of the music that I review and I see, it's like some have albums, some don't, some EPs, some just a single at a time, but the main thing is just getting the music out there, and I think that's so super cool.
Yeah, yeah. And there's a lot it takes a lot to get music out. I mean, it's not cheap. So I know that's
That's
something that
right.
it
Mhm.
takes a lot of money to not just it takes a lot of money to record it, but then you got to put it out and promote it. And
Mhm.
so sometimes you're in better positions than other times to do that.
I know, isn't it amazing the whole process of that, people that aren't really involved in the industry, like I have a lot of friends that are singer-songwriters, they get it. I have a lot of friends that it's just they're the fans, they're the ones, and it's like, then they'll start talking about, "Well, now I have to get this mastered, and now I have to do this," and it's like, "What? You mean you don't just, like, m make a song and, like, just send it out to radio?" It's like, no, you have no idea how many times it's been touched and how much budget has been put into it by the time you turn on FM and you're listening to that song. You have no idea.
Yeah, that's exactly it.
So just to kind of back up, I know that we've had you on the podcast before, but for those that are tuning in now, I love your story. Zach's been a hard worker ever since you were a kid. You come from Canada, hardworking farming family, rutabaga, right?
Rutabaga is yes, yep. For those of you
I
who know
always,
what that
I
is,
always remember that because my Aunt Judy always, she would always bring that to Thanksgiving and Christmas when I was a kid. That was it. That was all she was bringing. You talked to her the night before, that's what she's cooking and that's what she's bringing.
well, it is the vitamin C vegetable, so I mean it's good for you.
So, yeah,
Yeah,
so you from farming to music.
yeah. I was going to farm. Honestly, music. I love music. Obviously, I love music. But that was when I was growing up. That wasn't the career path that I thought I'd be on. My plan was I was 16 years old and thought I was going to go get my ag degree. Get my ag
Mhm,
business degree, come home and keep farming with dad.
right.
And then eventually, hopefully, maybe take over. And so that was kind of the path I was on. I loved farming. And what's funny is there's a lot of similarities in farming and music in a really weird way. Um, the hours are weird. The hour,
True.
you're always kind of on. Like you're
Mhm.
always kind of on the clock, so to speak. But I definitely am grateful for the I guess the things you learn growing up on a farm, from a work standpoint, from a work ethic. I think there's some work ethic that when you grow up on a farm that you obviously have to have, or you learn to have, and I think that's really helped me be more disciplined in a music career.
Absolutely. Mhm.
Because this is a job and a lifestyle that's easy to kind of get sidetracked with. You can, a lot of people, it takes them down different pathways, and um, I think it's been good for me. I'm grateful for it.
Mhm. And speaking of pathways, so how did you get from farming to music?
Well, I had a
I
band in
know the
high
story.
school,
You gotta tell
right?
it. Yes, tell it.
Had a band in high school. We were awful. We were terrible. But the thing we had going for us is we were, 15, 16-year-old, teenagers who were playing like Randy Travis music. That's what we were playing, Randy Travis songs, George Strait songs, Alan Jackson songs. I mean, that's what we were playing. All the other bands our age were playing, metal, punk, hard rock, heavy, typical teenager type music. None of us were. We were playing traditional country music or more traditional country music. So because of that, we were playing all kinds of things, everything within about 2 hours of home. We played every little, uh, VFW Legion, uh, you
Yes.
know, all that stuff. We did all that stuff, and we were terrible. But we had a rodeo in our hometown. We played that every year. Just that all that stuff, and then finally we did a battle of the bands competition. That one of the judges pulled me aside afterwards, and he said, "Is this what you're wanting to do?" And I was like, "Oh well, yeah, I'd love to do it." But I didn't know how you did it. I grew up in the middle of
Uh-huh.
nowhere. What do you do, right? So he said, "Well," he said, I know some guys, in Nashville, and I'll make some calls if you'd be interested." And in that 2-minute conversation, I went from, "Yeah, I'm going to college to go for agriculture," to, "Yeah, I'm going to go be a musician."
Just
It
like
really
that.
was kind
Just like that.
just well, you're 16, so you think, "Oh, that sounds great. Yeah, I'll go do that. Yeah, that sounds fun." You know, and so yeah, I really planned this out. Uh, this music career
Killing
was
me.
really well thought out.
But no, that's how it happened. It was meant to be because you're so
Well,
good.
thank you. I mean, and it did. It was we did, and I got to say this. I got to say to my mom and my dad, I was terrified the night that I said, "I want to talk to you. I got something I want to tell you." To basically say, "Hey, I don't think I'm going to college. I think I want to, you know, move to the States and play music, go be a musician." And I got to say, I was shaken when I was telling them that, thinking, "Oh, they're not going to be happy about this."
Mm,
The answer was they just kind of sat there after I said it, and then my dad said, "Yeah, we know." They knew before I did. They knew before I did, and they were always supportive, right? I mean, they bought our first PA system for us to be able to play gigs. I mean, they were always supportive, but then it was, hey, we already knew this was coming. They already knew. They knew before I did that that's what was going to happen, and they
mhm.
didn't try to stop me. They just said, if you're going to go do it, don't half it.
Right, right, right.
Go do it. you know and so to have that support and that encouragement from them, I mean, that's just that's invaluable you know
Yeah, and that's the thing is we interview so many of our Texas artists here on the podcast and they talk about this story too. Some of them growing up and I think I don't want to speak out of term. It was Aaron Watson or Parker McCollum that said they would just get in the back of the Suburban and just sing, 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 sing. And it's like I tell all my friends now that have little ones, it's like, some of the younger ones, it's like, let them sing. Don't know. No, let them sing. And I'll start telling stories. But it's true. There's just something about that. And I have we have some littles in the family that it's like, no, 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 no. We're gonna let them everybody be quiet. Let's let them sing. Because you just never know where it's going. We look at some of the talent and the people that we have in the business now, like you, delivering us such amazing music.
well, thank you. I mean, it's just and I can understand as a parent. You're right. You want what's best for your kids. All right. You don't want to see them make go down wrong choices, but I just know I just know for me, it was just so grateful to have that support from my parents, because there were definitely times along the way where when you had to call up and be like, "Hey, I'm a little short on money this month to make rent."
Oh,
To make rent, I had to
yes,
pay it back. I had to pay it back. They
of
basically
course.
would they would loan the money, but it was like, no, you're grown up now. Welcome to being a grown up. Here's some responsibility. But it was good. It's what I needed, you know.
Uh-huh.
So that's invaluable.
Yes, absolutely. Love that story. So moving forward, now you have all this great support in the industry, like Mr. Tom Cheney. And I have to tell you, I have show and tell. I get these little care packages, and so I have my security flashlight that has Zach Neal on it. I have my T-shirt, and then I have one of these that he sent. It's perfect to work on my reel. The little screws are in my fishing reel. Yeah, one of them had
Yes.
like the little. Oh, it was perfect timing because it was about time for it to get cleaned and oiled and all that. Because I have a really nice lose. I throw a bait
Mm,
caster and I have nice reels. And it was
hmm
like, man, that was so awesome. I go to check my mail and I get that.
you're the first one. Here's what's funny. You're the very first one to tell me that everybody says, "Oh, it's great for fixing glasses." You know, little screws in people's glasses or something. You're the first, and I'm going to make sure I tell Tom that he will absolutely love that because when he told me that that's what he was like, I'm going to send these out, and I'm going to be honest. I was like, okay, cool, great. Whatever. And it's funny because we've had a lot of people say we use it for fixing glasses or used it for. I had one guy tell me he used it to fix a vent in his car. There was a screw in like some little screw
Seriously.
in the, and I thought, well, that's just a weird thing. But you're the first one to tell me that for a rod and for a reel, and I love that. That's fantastic.
Yeah, and so the funny thing is though, because I was so excited when I got the package and I opened it up, okay, I didn't know what it was. I didn't know if it was a pen, which I needed, and I was like, you don't know how long I messed with that gadget until I figured it out, and then anyway, rest is history. So yeah, I love getting my little surprise goodies. Thank you so
You
much
gave.
from yeah.
You're very welcome. You just gave me an idea. I just came to me right now is, and I'm going to tell Tom this. Between the little screwdriver set and the flashlight, it's like a Zach Neal survival kit.
Mhm. Yes.
I mean, that's what I'll tell him. I'll say, what else can we get to throw in there? We'll brand it as a
Yes.
survival kit.
Send it to me. And I actually think I may have a couple of these, but when I lose this little flashlight, I panic because it's dark out here. When it gets dark here where I live, it's dark. And just that little bit like anyway, so much for that. So let's see what else we're gonna talk about. Well, holidays are right around the corner. What's your holiday plans?
You know what? I'm working Thanksgiving. I've got to work Thanksgiving night, which will be good if I can sing after eating all that food.
True.
uh, yeah, I'll be up there huffing and puffing probably, but we'll get through it. So yeah, I've actually got to play that Thursday, Friday, and Saturday night. So that's going to be good. That'll be a good weekend. And then I guess Thanksgiving's early this year, isn't it? I think so. We got a week off, and then the following week we go to Vegas for NFR. We'll be out there for the week
Oh,
playing at
cool,
NFR
cool.
out there.
Hmm.
So yeah, that's kind of the schedule, I think. And then
Well,
yeah, make some money to pay for some Christmas gifts, and
yes, yes.
yeah,
Okay. All right. Well, again, it's been great catching up with you, and we won't be seeing each other for our annual visit at the Texas Country Music Awards. I'm not going to make it this year. We've got a situation. Ron's got to have a surgery, so it's scheduled for the Thursday. But anyway, so yeah,
yes. Well,
first year.
we'll be wishing the very best for y'all there.
Yes, prayers appreciated. And Zach, thank you so much for all the music that you put out and just being you and all you do and where you came from and sharing your story. And everybody check out Till the Numbers Run Out. You're gonna love it if you haven't checked it out because I know we featured it on the podcast on Texas on Tap, but it's just one of those songs for that will go on for years and years.
Thank you, Helen. Always good to talk to you.